Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake, man. I'm rocking with y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're going to be going over the paperwork of BTB Savage's alleged killer who stalked him before striking. BTB Savage, a San Antonio rapper whose violent and untimely demise has sadly become more viral than his career ever was. Just 8 days after he was gunned down, the Houston Police Department announced 40-year-old Montrell Burley was wanted for killing the 26-year-old rapper. Investigators determined gang ties would be the motive behind Montrell stalking and killing a man almost half his age. On March 30th, 2023, two Houston police officers were assigned to a murder investigation in which a man later identified as BTB Savage was found dead, laying on his back after being shot repeatedly. 20 feet away was his bullet-riddled white Mercedes with the driver's door still open. An on-scene witness was able to detail how a black SUV stopped in the street behind her when the passenger door opened and a man got out, taking a shooting stance before opening fire on the Mercedes. Another witness gave officers permission to view her home security camera. The black SUV was seen behind the Mercedes when it drove in the wrong lane facing oncoming traffic before cutting off the Mercedes at an angle in an attempt to stop it. BTB Savage tried to drive around the SUV when two muzzle flashes came from the back of the SUV before they continued driving north and out of view. Houston police would take advantage of the flock cameras placed around the city. These cameras essentially read and track license plates, placing them in a real-time database that can easily be searched and alert officers for suspect vehicles. The suspected black SUV was found to be a Subaru driving with a license plate belonging to a stolen Kia Optima. The Kia was stolen just 2 days before the murder, and the day after it was stolen, flock cameras caught the Kia driving with its original license plate, as it was followed by a 2020 black Subaru with the Florida license plate. This was the last time the Kia was seen on camera with its original plate. A search of the Florida plate would show the Subaru was a rental registered in Orlando and had been rented out of San Antonio 4 days before the murder to a man named Montrell Burley. Montrell's address would be listed in New Braunfels, a city just outside San Antonio. Houston police would contact the New Braunfels Police Department and have a unit sent to Montrell's house, where parked in his driveway was the black Subaru with the Florida plate. March 31st, the day after the murder, a search warrant for the vehicle was signed. SWAT would observe Montrell and a woman pulling out of the driveway, and they'd stop the vehicle over 100 feet away from the home. The female driver was identified as Passion James, Montrell's fiance. She'd be detained on a misdemeanor as Montrell was charged with possessing narcotics. Within the vehicle, officers found 2 iPhones, and when opening the rear hatch, a rifle shell casing fell to the ground. Both Montrell and Passion would be transported to the police station for interviews. Providing his cell phone number, Montrell said he hadn't visited Houston in about a week. When asked about the day of the murder, he claimed he woke up late from drinking the night before and couldn't go anywhere because someone had borrowed his rental. When asked where he was around the time of the shooting, he said he wasn't with the vehicle, and when asked who he let borrow the vehicle, Montrell requested an attorney and the interview ended. Passion was a bit more willing to talk. She said Montrell was her fiance and they had a child together. He had crashed her car not too long ago, which was why they had a rental. On the day of the murder, she woke up just before 10 a.m. and Montrell wasn't home. She didn't know where he was, and he didn't come home until 8:30 that night. She said she texted him a few times throughout the day and even spoke with him around 3, but didn't know where he was or what he was up to. Investigators asked if there was any recent deaths in the family, and she said Montrell's cousin had been killed. She didn't know the details of the case, but his cousin's name was Omar. Investigators became aware the homicide victim, who was a rapper by the name of BTB Savage, along with his girlfriend, were involved in the shooting death of Omar Richardson in San Antonio. The shooting was justified, no charges were filed, and Savage conducted an interview with the YouTube channel Vlad TV on the shooting. The day Savage was killed, he'd post Instagram photos from the scene of the shooting, standing in Omar's blood. One of Montrell's neighbors gave police access to a camera in which investigators were able to observe the Pac Subaru the night of the murder. It was 11 at night, and for roughly 20 minutes, a man can be seen wiping the interior and exterior of the vehicle down with the towel. On April 3rd, investigators spoke with BTB Savage's mom, who told investigators after the shooting of Omar, he moved from San Antonio to Houston and was living out of an Airbnb. She said the day of the shooting, BTB was going to leave for Vegas, but what they didn't know was someone had already leaked BTB Savage's new address. Houston investigators working with San Antonio's police department learned Montrell Burley and Omar Richardson were original members of San Antonio's Styx gang, which branched into the Bloodstone villains. It would turn out the two weren't blood related, but bounded by a gang affiliation, which is believed to be the motive for murder. Not only that, but Montrell is a 40-year-old rapper who goes by the name Versus 600. And a month after Omar died, Montrell dropped a song titled Pain is Love, a tribute to Omar in which he talked about pain, drugs, and shootings. A search warrant for Montrell's phone would reveal on March 29th, the day before the murder, Montrell left his home at 11:40 in the afternoon. His phone's GPS, as well as his neighbor's surveillance camera, would align perfectly. By 9:50 that night, all the way to 2:30 in the morning, Montrell would lurk the Houston area BTB Savage was staying in. It was 1:50 in the afternoon when Montrell's phone showed he was yet again by Savage's Airbnb. For the next 4 hours, Montrell would wait, waiting for BTB Savage to come out of the Airbnb so he could strike, and just after 6 p.m., the opportunity came. BTB Savage would only make it 3 minutes away from his Airbnb before being gunned down, and 5 minutes after the shooting, Montrell's cell phone GPS would show he was already on the highway, heading back to San Antonio, having completed his mission. With an overwhelming amount of evidence, such as using a rental under his own name to commit murder, leaving a spent shell casing in the rental, cell phone GPS, license plate readers, and surveillance video, Montrell Burley was charged with BTB Savage's murder, and at this time, a second suspect is yet to be arrested, while Montrell currently has a $1 million bond. Now this is an ugly case. It seems that had BTB Savage not provoked the situation that made him go viral, which was legally killing a man, he may have still been alive. But at the end of the day, Omar was apparently a gang member. One of his gang brothers slid for revenge, and he got the shit done. And I mean, it's obvious whoever BTB Savage thought was on his side wasn't. There's already been accusations of producers set him up. Apparently they robbed the Airbnb, took all of his belongings after he was killed, like his jewelry, his clothes, whatever. But somebody definitely dropped his location. Somebody definitely gave up the Airbnb address, gave it to the alleged shooter, who then drove around and waited for hours until a white Mercedes came out. Literally, he would have taken a right turn and another right turn, and that's how he got killed. 2 right turns, 3 minutes away from the Airbnb, gunfire erupts around 6 in the afternoon. A bunch of witnesses, surveillance video. He didn't care. Whoever did this didn't care. He was sitting there waiting for hours, saw what he wanted to shoot at, did what he did. And apparently they're saying Montrell was the one that was behind this, and 5 minutes after the shooting, he was already on the highway, dapping himself up, making his way back to San Antonio, thinking that he just got away with the situation. And the whole time, the vehicle that this was allegedly done in is parked outside of his fucking house. The police had a drone hovering above his house, waiting to see who would get inside of the car. Him and his girl get in. They have his cell phone location matching the license plate readers and the surveillance video, placing him at the scene. So they're gonna argue no matter what, they have for sure proof he was inside of that vehicle. But there was a driver and a shooter. They don't have a second suspect publicly named. I don't know if they're looking into somebody. But at this point, nobody's been named. Which means he hasn't given anyone up at this time. Because they announced he was wanted before he was even found. And then he turned himself in on the charges. But to be so bold that you allegedly committed a murder with a rental rented under your name, it sounds like bro crashed out. Drop y'all's thoughts and comments in the comment section. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all and y'all rocking with me. Till next time.